Welcome back, guys, to my channel. Gaston Browne of Antigua and Barbuda, the Prime Minister there, is calling on his Caribbean counterparts to stand up for truth and stand against U.S. militarization. We must protect the Caribbean as a zone of peace. Well, I'm not too sure if the Caribbean can now be considered as a zone of peace after what we are seeing happening with the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, but he is still calling on his Caribbean counterparts to exercise courage, be strong, and stand against any foreign militarization in the Caribbean, because we are a people who do not like war but peace. Well, let's take a listen to what he said and then we will come back.
Antigua and Barbuda Prime Minister Gaston Browne on Tuesday called on the region to stand up against the militarization in the Caribbean, even if there are consequences in doing so. He was speaking in St. John's on Tuesday at a ceremony to launch the Commonwealth Heads of Government Conference, which will be held there next year.
And I'll say to our Caribbean people that we must all coalesce and stand against any form of military action in this hemisphere. This hemisphere must remain a zone of peace.
Browne was speaking against the backdrop of the U.S. military buildup close to Venezuela and what appears to be an imminent plan for American military strikes inside the country.
We also remain resolute in our calls for the Caribbean region to remain a zone of peace. And this is a call that we continue to emphasize and to reiterate in all fora. Well, the reality is, if as a result of the military buildup that we've seen in the Southern Caribbean results in any form of armed conflict, there's a small island states, especially the OASIS countries, that will suffer disproportionately. And that is because we are so vulnerable.
Browne said peace in the region is in our collective national interest.
And I'll state here too that though we are small and vulnerable, we should not be afraid to stand on the truth. And if there are going to be consequences standing on the truth, let it be so. But at the end of the day, history will absolve us and will remember us as a nation, a non-aligned nation that continues to call for peace, for justice, for love among humanity, and certainly to call out all of the inequities within the global system.
The outspoken Antiguan leader said the militarization is undermining the region.
That when you take military action against any nation, any group of nations, you're literally undermining all of humanity. And we should not be afraid to stand for peace and justice.
And therefore, I totally agree with Gaston Browne. You know, Gaston Browne is the only Caribbean leader that have been able so far to demonstrate strong leadership. That is what a strong leader is all about, because he have made a clear and decisive decision in saying no to the United States of America, despite of what the consequences will be. He chose to stand up for truth. He chose to stand up for humanity. He chose to stand up for justice. And the people of Antigua are at a peace of mind because their leader have at least said no. They know where their leader stands. They know where the government stands. They know where they as a nation stand. You know, not being anxious like some other nations, including my own country, Grenada, where we don't really know where we stand because we are still waiting for an answer by the Prime Minister. We are still trying to figure out whether to say yes or whether to say no. I am not too sure why it's taking us so long, why it's taking the PM so long. This is something I just can't understand. You know, I know there's maybe a lot of other things, maybe deeper things, pre-existing agreements. Maybe the Prime Minister is trying to maneuver because, you know, there are a lot of pre-existing agreements when it comes to previous governments and things that they have signed. So I'm not too sure if that's the reason, but I am not certain why we are taking so long to make a decision. In this world of global politics, now let me tell you guys, in this world of global politics, and especially where we are located in the Caribbean, I will say it again. I said it before and I will say it again. We cannot stay in the middle. We cannot try to be diplomatic and neutral and all of these things. When two giants or titans clash, and whoever is in the middle will get crushed. Exactly, you will get crushed, and you cannot stay in the middle of a fight. You will get harm. You may get the worst of it. You will get knocked down, and so I think I continue to reiterate, and I stand on my view and my opinion that Grenada must choose his side. We must choose an answer, whether yes or whether no. Neutrality for me, will only complicate the situation even more. And America, knowing the administration of America, they will not take silence for an answer. They will not be ignored, because these people are so, full of it with themselves. The ego is so up there, is that they will not tolerate ignorance or being ignored. They will not take silence for an answer. They will not. They will push you until you pick a side. And so I think the best thing is that we should stand up for truth. We should stand up for justice in saying no, because as he said, it will undermine the Caribbean region. It will undermine us as people of Grenada. Some of us are still worried, what we're going to do without the United States, and if we say yes, if we say no, sorry, we're going to be sanctioned and isolated. Come on, this is not true. We will not be isolated. There are a lot of nations out there that is waiting and ready to do business with us. There's a lot of markets out there that is waiting and ready to do business with us. We as a people have went through a lot. We have went through a lot, even dating back to slavery times. We have went through a lot, and we know how to survive. We should know how to survive, and cut off this dependency mentality that we have about ourselves. At least, a lot of people is coming down on Kamala Posad Bisesa in Trinidad and Tobago. A lot of things, she's been criticized heavily, and I myself have been a critic of hers, and I still will, concerning her policy, not as an individual, because I don't know her as who she is as an individual. But when it comes to her policy, that is what we are critiquing. That is what I'm not in agreement with. But at least I give her credit, because she herself has exercised. Some of you may not agree with me, but she have exercised strong leadership, because at least she didn't hide and do anything secretly by telling the United States yes. She openly sided with the United States by telling them, yes, you are welcome, and we will support you in your military endeavors here in the Caribbean against Venezuela. All right? It's better you have a leader that says yes or says no, than a leader that in between and trying to make up their mind and they don't know what as if they are confused and don't know what they're about. Well, guys, take it easy. Let me know what are your thoughts in the comment section below. Until then.